Salutations, folks. So, I just kind of felt like turning on the webcam and vibing on some films. This is a very spur of the moment thing. So, I thought it'd be cool to give y'all a timeline of my favorite films through the years. I think I've had, what would it be? I think I've had 5 favorite films of all time throughout my time. And, I mean, I'm sure it'll change again, but I figured it'd be kind of cool to give you a timeline of how my favorite film of all time changed. So, I should probably take these off. Can't really hear myself speak. For what it's worth, though, if any of you people fuck with lo-fi, this right here might be my favorite. If you just type in, like, space traveling, I think you'll find it. Really, really good stuff. Love it. Anyway. So, I'm pretty sure the first time I ever had a favorite film, not counting, like, an episode of children's TV on VHS or something, was probably The Fox and the Hound. I remember very little about this particular motion picture. I just know that I was vibing on it pretty hardcore in my preschool years. That's about the timeline in which I saw the film, roughly, anyway. Like, I vaguely remember a scene about a bridge. I remember, I think some dude is trying to hunt the fox or something, and I remember a couple scenes like that. I haven't seen this in, I don't know, 18 years probably, but I remember fucking with it back in the day, and that's probably the first favorite film that I've ever had. I need to go back to that. That'd be cool. Like, I should go back, like, set aside a day to watch all 5 of my favorite films of all time throughout the years. That'd be dope. I'm probably gonna do that. Anyway, after Fox and the Hound, probably, I would guess around the time I hit, like, 6 or 7, maybe, my favorite film was, or no, it must have been earlier than that. I'm gonna guess around the time of, like, maybe 4 to 6 is when, like, Thomas the Tank Engine, the movie or something, became my favorite film of all time. I was very well versed in my early years. I remember next to nothing about this film except for what the, like, clamshell VHS box looked like. I mean, I know it had Thomas the Tank Engine in it, and I'm sure if I were to watch it, I'd, like, remember everything, because I watched that film an unhealthy amount of times, probably. Like, I've probably watched that every day for several months. So, that's pretty much all I got on that. I remember nothing about the film, for the most part, except for maybe, like, a shot of Thomas the Tank Engine, but it was, at one point, a favorite of mine, so there you go. So, after that, getting into, like, maybe 6 or 7, maybe. I mean, I know it was before, like, 2nd grade, and you turned 8 in 2nd grade, right? So, maybe, I don't know, roughly around the age of, like, kindergarten, maybe 1st grade, but I feel like it was before then. Toy Story became my favorite. Like, when I tell you I fucked with Toy Story as a kid, I fucked with Toy Story as a kid. Like, Woody was my fucking homie. Um, I remember thinking it was the funniest piece of entertainment humanity had ever created. And, like, I'd go out trick-or-treating dressed as Woody. Just, I was on that shit. I'd say when it came out, I want to say it came out before I was born. It came out in, like, 95, right? I don't know. Like, I was obsessed with Toy Story. Like, if I had had a Tumblr in, like, 2002, it would have just been all Toy Story, nothing else. Like, I was really into Toy Story back in the day. Um, After that one, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I went from Toy Story being my favorite film into The Karate Kid being my favorite film. That probably happened, I don't know, I was maybe 8. I think 8 years old. And I was obsessed with martial arts at the time. I had watched friends of mine do a taekwondo class at, like, I don't know, I must have been 5 maybe. Maybe younger than that. I'm pretty sure it was pre kindergarten that I got the martial arts bug, and then at the age of 8, roughly, I discovered the Karate Kid, and it blew my fucking dome. Man, this film. Like, yeah, it's like the classic hero's journey type of story. Like, pretty much down to the letter. If you look up and read about the hero's journey, you can basically be like, oh yeah, that is the Karate Kid right there. But it is just so well crafted. Like, I've been fucking with this film for many a year, since I was 8, so I've been fucking with this film for probably 16 years now. Was I 8? I feel like I might have been 7 when I saw this film for the first time. I'm not sure. It's like if my best friend loaned it to me after a soccer practice. I'm pretty sure at that point, like, I was 7. I don't know. Anyway, everything about the film I just loved. Like, Daniel LaRusso was my hero throughout childhood. Well, I've never had, like, one definitive hero or anything, but he's up there. Like that, the Karate Kid got me taking karate classes when I was, what would I be, 11? 10? 10 or 11, I started taking karate, largely in part because by the time I hit 10, I had seen the Karate Kid minimum 10 times, probably. So I was all about that shit. Or no, I might have been younger than that. I might have been 9. Couldn't have been. No, I think I was 10 when I started karate, or 11. But long story short, the Karate Kid really put my interest of martial arts into high gear, so that's pretty cool. Like, there's no way I would have taken Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, even if only for a short time, if I hadn't seen The Karate Kid. Like, I fucked with this film. I still fuck with this film hardcore. Like, since I don't know when. If I was, let's say I was 8 when I saw this film for the first time. So 2000. So like from 2005 to 2020 or 2020. That sounds a lot better. So from '05 to 2020, I have probably seen The Karate Kid about, I would say 80 times would be like my approximation of how many times I've seen this film, because I was fucking with this film hard for quite a while. Like, I was in it. I was all about it. I was practicing the crane kick and all that. I didn't really get into a lot of chores because of the Karate Kid. There was very few house paintings going on inspired by my love of the Karate Kid. But, it's one of those films where you just feel good after watching it. Like, I mean, put on You're the Best and try not to go work out or practice at something that you care about. Like, that shit is fucking dope. Like, the whole film is fucking dope. Like, man. Apparently, the same guy that directed this film directed Rocky. I was not aware of this. I also cannot sit comfortably on this floor right now. I did not realize that it was the same director for a long time. I think I found that out this year. Like 15 years after I saw it for the first time. So that's something right there. I don't know. 'Cause I don't want to like bust into a full-on review of all 5 of these films, because I'm trying to put out some content that's not an hour long, but also I'm just trying to vibe on some films. So yeah, The Karate Kid, fucking love it. I've seen all the Karate Kid films, not Cobra Kai yet, but I'm sure I will. Yeah, The Karate Kid took me from about the age of 8 to the age of 17, and around the time I hit 17, The Breakfast Club took over as my favorite film of all time. Like, I'm sure all my dedicated subscribers that I have on this channel will know that the first time I decided to review a film, I did The Breakfast Club. Not my most articulate moments, albeit I'm not very articulate in these long rambles at all, but I had to wear an uncomfortable amount of not black for that, though, because I cosplayed John Bender to a degree. Like, I got to wear the black gloves. Oh, I should put the black gloves on for this. Anyway, like, I got to wear the black fingerless gloves, and that was great. Because there's no way I'd just not wear black if I knew that people were gonna see it. Like, that is too much color for me in my fashion, so I it's not my favorite video on this channel, that's for sure. Pretty much for that reason. Anyway, the film itself, I could go very in depth on why I love this film so much, but I don't feel like doing that. I'll definitely have to make a better Breakfast Club review, but for the time being, let me just say it inspired me quite a bit. I saw it shortly before, like I think the weekend before I started high school. I saw it for the first time. And I saw it maybe once more my freshman year. Then I saw it a third time as a sophomore. And by the time I hit my junior year, I had seen it one more time, and at that point, it became my favorite of all time. And then my senior year, graduating high school, doing like graduation parties and whatnot, I ended up watching The Breakfast Club 3 times in 2 days, I think, which was pretty impressive for me. I don't normally do that. Like, I'm pretty sure I've only done that one other time with Green Room, but that was just because I had the rental. This time, for The Breakfast Club, I just was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to watch The Breakfast Club 3 times in 2 days. And I mean, I've seen it since that marathon, but oh man, I could I could quote a pretty good majority of the script of this film, like a pretty good majority. Like I'm not going to because acting isn't my jam, but just know that odds are if you were to like play Breakfast Club, I could probably do each character's lines right before they say them for at least a solid 80% of this film. So, I am starting to ramble. It is about 1:11 a.m. and I'm trying to make this short so that hopefully I'll get people to watch full videos, because me rambling for half an hour to, I think my longest video on here is like 54 minutes. Not exactly the best way to bring in viewers. So, yeah, auf Wiedersehen, I guess. Where's the button? Wow, space is really fucking